Friday. Today is December 10th. Just Baseball Show. Jack McMullen, Aram Layton rocking his JB hoodie. Peter Apple also rocking his Just Baseball hoodie and drinking out of a red Solo cup, even though it's not Friday or Saturday. Guy parties, by the way.
More that I don't want to wash dishes and this is water, but
yeah,
we can make believe. Aram's also drinking water. Hydrated boys. You know, it's Friday. Get ready for the weekend. Drink your water. Hydrated boys.
Kind of a subset of the Island Boys. Hydrated boys.
Hydrated boys.
It's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, before we get rolling with a couple more mock trades, because those are so much fun, and I have a bone to pick with the MILB Rule 5 draft. That's the Rule 5 draft that can happen right now, not the Major League Baseball Rule 5 draft. Massive news in the crypto space. CryptoPunk number 4156 just sold for $10.2 million. This is from Ravel, so I'll try and keep it short and sweet. Here's what makes this image, you should be watching on YouTube. Here's what makes this image unique.
Just screenshotted it.
Yeah, this is what makes this image worth $10.2 million to own, not to screenshot. It's one of 24 CryptoPunk apes, and it's one of 4 of the apes that is wearing a bandana. So this
of course.
This digital photo of an ape with a bandana is worth $10 million.
I mean, you make fun of NFTs now, but crypto NFTs, they're going to run our world in like 3 years, whether we like it or not.
Look,
that's
going
to run our world. That's the new Mona Lisa. That's what it is. It's called art, idiot. Learn.
Is that why it's so valuable? Is like people just can't go in and steal it? We're going to have the virtual... We're going to have the virtual form of somehow of just people stealing digital art, I guess, too. No, it's not possible. It's on the blockchain. I'm sure they'll find a way. I don't know
if they will, because it's minted. There's one that's minted, and then if you screenshot, it's not minted anymore. It's kind of like the actual art piece. I don't think you can. I mean, it hasn't been proven yet, but doesn't it feel like it could be figured it out already if someone could steal them? Wouldn't it?
See,
no, it's new.
Cool.
It's not that new, though. I mean, it's kind of
that clearly digital rendering of an ape wearing a bandana. If that's worth $10 million, maybe the person that owns it has their name under the thing on the blockchain is the only person that can see the non-digitized ape with the bandana. You know what I mean? Like, what if it's an actual monkey wearing a bandana? Like, that's a cool image. Is it worth $10 million? No.
That makes sense. But here's the
dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Oh, that's where it's dumb. That's where it doesn't make sense anymore, right? Okay. Because naturally where there's no purpose of it, it's just the pixelized image. That's not dumb. But when you could actually be the only person who gets to see the real ape, that would be dumb. That's where we draw the line. The last thing I'll say on this is obviously there's people whipping yachts down by me in South Florida that are just bathing in money because of these things. So I'm not making fun of those people. What I'm just trying to understand is that how pixelized images became something like this. Like I understand cryptocurrency and the purpose that it serves. How did it get looped into now pixelized images? And I understand that these are the first crypto or NFTs, whatever. Like I get it, but I don't get it.
I mean, have you seen Lizard Man, Mark Zuckerberg? He's creating the metaverse. Like all these new things are going to be in our world. It's going to be a new digital world. I implore all of you. There is an 11-minute video on YouTube by Business Insider where you get to watch Mark Zuckerberg and his alien ass talk about the metaverse. And I don't want to give it away, but I think our world is going to end because all of us are going to go into this metaverse and there's going to be digital art everywhere and nobody's going to want to leave because you are able to transport yourself from your couch to the Alps and go skiing virtually. And then you go swimming with a virtual version of Michael Phelps. I know you're all raising your hand. I'm going to continue. So the digital art is going to be something in the metaverse. And I'll close it with this. If you are not that happy of a person, you're not enjoying your life, and then you can blast off into another world and create a new world for yourself, that just seems like human nature that we're going to go towards that. Jack, you're raising your hand. What?
Yeah, so what you are describing right now is the plot of the book Ready Player One.
I know.
Yeah, like that's what that is.
It's not that it's going to happen. Like,
yeah. Wait.
What?
Last thing we have to say here. We don't trust Mark Zuckerberg to create a safe environment for his website for us, and we're going to trust him to create a world in which we would live in.
I don't have a good answer for that.
Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to end on.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
I think it's going to happen.
This lockout needs to fucking end.
Just go back to this podcast when we're all, playing virtual baseball with DeGrom in the metaverse, and I'm going to come back and be like, listen to episode 115 of the Just Baseball Show. I called it.
Yeah, I think the Louisville Slugger Museum, it was either the Louisville Slugger Museum or it was in Cooperstown. It kind of had the virtual Jacob deGrom already. It was like stand in the box, and it's a pitching machine that varies its speed, and you like pick the pitcher, and it's like, oh, Randy Johnson. It changes the arm slot, and you can see 98 down the gut from Randy Johnson's arm slot. It might have been the Louisville Slugger Museum.
No, but it's not going to be where we put on big ass goggles anymore. And like we have machines, and if you could see me on YouTube, like
Oculus
doing this motion, that's not the right motion. It's kind of weird motion, but freaking Oculus.
Yeah, you're doing the shake weight.
Yeah, I'm doing the shake weight, thing.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like that. It's going to be like a little button you could just press right on your temple and just go boop, and you're gone.
Oh, well, that was Black Mirror. So you've walked me through Ready Player One and Black Mirror.
I'm telling you information so you could get ahead of it. And it's not financial advice, but put your money in Ethereum. It's not financial advice. But seriously, this is where I think the world is going.
Wow.
Do you think I'm wrong? Like, do you think that this will fizzle out and it will all become nothing? Because I cannot get behind that.
I think a middle ground between the two.
Yeah, I think it's going to continue to adapt. I don't think it's taking over the world. Like, I think credit statements are still going to be a thing, but Ethereum, do you have money in Ethereum right now?
I mean, it's not financial advice, but yes.
Interesting. You think I should put some? Not financial
Bitcoin? Yes.
I've got a few ETH.
Yeah. Get Ethereum. Get Bitcoin. Yes. Stake your claim now.
Interesting.
In a couple months when it goes 50x. No, it won't. But it will grow. It will grow. This will be, you will 2, 3, 4x your money by, in my opinion, I think the next 3 to 5 years.
Hey, this is on an entirely different subject, but before we get to baseball, I have something I heard.
I love it. Okay. Fucking get into it.
I spent time with my 87-year-old grandpa last night for the first time. First time I've seen him since pre-COVID.
Oh, wow.
And saw him. We both got our booster shot, so I felt comfortable giving him a hug, and we sat down, and we were watching something on CBS, and the Limu Emu commercial came on, and I tweeted this. I said, my grandpa told me as soon as that commercial came on, he said he has written to Liberty Mutual several times because the Limu Emu and Doug commercials piss him off so much. So I took that and I just kept the ball rolling. I was like, all right, let's go. Like, story time. Boom. He worked for Brown-Forman for a very long time. Brown-Forman sold packaging, and they worked with a ton of distilleries. He lives in Louisville, Kentucky. He worked with a lot of those distilleries along the Bourbon Trail. And he was telling me a couple of stories about his time in Lynchburg, Tennessee at Jack Daniels. Something I did not realize, something I heard that I know now, and I Googled it. I was like, is this still the case? And the answer is yes. Lynchburg, Virginia. You've seen the commercial, right? It was a population of like 300 when Jack Daniels first got their distillery there, first set it up. Once they became a power, I think the population of Lynchburg is up to like 5,000-ish right now. Lynchburg, Tennessee is located in Moore County, Tennessee. Moore County is a dry county, which means that you cannot get caught drinking alcohol. So a titan of the whiskey distilling business, Jack Daniels, is located in a dry county in Tennessee.
Wait, there's a county where alcohol is not legal?
Yeah, so they have restrictions on selling alcohol like certain hours of the day, but it's a dry county. Like, a dry college campus, like if they catch you drinking, you get in trouble.
We went to Syracuse. We have no idea what that means.
Wow.
You hear what I said?
That's pretty wild.
What'd you say?
I said we went to Syracuse. We have no idea what that means.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
But really, huh?
Yeah.
Dry county. That sounds
Jack
horrible.
Daniels is located in a dry county.
How about that?
That is something I heard.
Yeah.
We need to bring that back more. Remember we were doing that at the beginning of the Project the Plate days?
Yeah, we
can. Rat Kingdom.
We can continue to do it. The Mega Rat.
I just don't really hear that many cool things anymore now. I just don't hear that many cool things. Do you guys hear more cool things? Jack, you just heard a cool thing.
I just heard a really cool thing. And whenever I hear a cool thing, I'll share it with the group.
Perfect.
I'll start doing that more.
Let's break into some mock trades right now because I think Aram and I totally undershot the amount of fun that we were going to have doing these when we recorded on Sunday for the Monday episode. I mean, just blowing up the Phillies farm system for Cedric Mullins was hilarious. And just walking through the Jose Ramirez to the Mariners for the biggest haul ever. Like, that was so much fun. So Peter, you said, damn, I want to get in on this action. So you sent us 4 or 5 guys, and we're going to sit here and workshop deals that are so fun to put together in a lockout that will likely never in a million years happen, but they're so fun to think about.
Let's do it. Should we start at the top with a hammer, or should we start with a guy who actually probably could get traded?
Yeah, let's work to the hammers like we are with the Hall of Fame stuff. Like we started with Tim Lincecum and AJ Brzezinski, but we're going to work up to the Bonds and the Clements.
And let's just start with Luis Castillo. Let's start with a guy like Luis Castillo, because I feel like every single team could use a guy like Luis Castillo. I mean, he's not young, but he's controllable and he's a good starting pitcher. He's had weird half seasons where he's amazing in the front half, then terrible in the second half. He has weird home road splits. Aram, I'm sure there are teams on teams that would want a Luis Castillo. So let's just speculate. Talk to me.
Who wants him?
Who wants him?
Everybody. I mean, you're getting a legitimate, really, when he's on, he's a solid number 2. When he's at his usual average, I think he's a really solid number 3. He's under a little bit more control. Yes, he's volatile at times, but he has a track record of when he struggles, he's going to come around and have a streak where he's just as good for just as long as well. So, I mean, I think there's going to be a long list of teams looking at this guy. And the Yankees are always in on pitching, right? I mean, I feel like Luis Castillo and the Yankees have always been tied to each other. You look at maybe LA Angels, that is, not the Dodgers. They're pretty fine there. The Padres, but they don't have enough prospects. This could be one of those situations where we could see big league for big league, because the Reds don't want to fully tear it down necessarily. They have Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green knocking on the door. This could be a rare MLB trade here, which would be really cool. I think baseball needs more of those anyways.
So I had an idea. When you said Angels, they have a lot of MLB ready players. Would you trade Brandon Marsh for Luis Castillo?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah. Would that just be like a 1-for-1? The thing is the Angels kind of need both of those guys now, right? That's the interesting thing. Justin Upton, are you counting on him to be your everyday corner outfielder for the final year of his deal?
Though. He was good
until he wasn't.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah.
What about the Giants? Are the Giants going to trade ever?
Would they trade one of those catchers, Bailey or Bart?
I think they're going to audition Bart, and then if he sucks, then what?
Do you think he's going to suck?
No, I think he'll be all right. But his bat's a question.
Why?
I think it's a high floor. I think Joey Bart's the highest floor.
What do you see that scares you about Bart?
Pulls everything. I don't think he's ever hit an oppo home run. He's got a little Didi Gregorius in him. And I think when he got to the big leagues, they kind of picked on that. I thought he made some improvements this year. But the other thing that really scares me is he got blown up by Velo. Blown up. Fastball's up. That's all they gave him. Just steady diet, fastball up. I think they could literally tell him it's coming, give him the glove gesture, fastball coming, and they'd blow him up. I think he was like Bobby Dalbec level of batting average against fastballs 95 and above. So that's a little concerning because, as we know, that's what Major League Baseball is, period. There's a reason why the Giants are not opposed to trading him. He should be untouchable given the circumstances, and he's not. I think that kind of tells you a little bit without them wanting to tip their hand too much on Joey Bart.
I feel like a move to the Angels makes so much sense, and Luis Castillo for Brandon Marsh straight up, I think could kind of work. Is anyone opposed?
No.
I'm not, because, Joe Adele's that offensive upside guy. He's still going to play good defense in a corner, even though his arm somehow went from sick to noodle. I don't know when that happened, because he was throwing like 90 something off the mound in high school. But you have somebody like Jordan Adams, who the bat's a big question, but could play phenomenal defense and still kind of slide into center. Because the thing is I kind of want Trout out of center. Like, is that nuts? I know how good he is in center field, but like, let's be real. Mike Trout is one of the best hitters we've seen ever, and he's wearing down a little bit. Like, move that guy to a corner. I think it's a lot better for his body. I mean, look at all of these center fielders in recent history who have had their career cut short for all of the crazy catches and all of the crazy things they have to do in center field. Brandon Marsh is a supreme defender in center field. It's not like you're going to have some insane drop off from Trout to Marsh at this point in Trout's career too. I'm moving Trout to a corner. I know you laugh, but I bet you the Angels are thinking about it right now.
Aram, I actually think you're Ebenezer Scrooge. I think you hate Christmas, and I think that you want to see Trout's window cut right now. Like, he's
I'm trying to extend his fucking window.
He's the best player that we've seen in our time of like actively viewing baseball. Like, right? So let him be the best player on planet Earth for as long as he possibly can. And when he shows some signs of decline in center, you can move him to a corner. I'm not a fan of proactively moving him to right.
Well, this isn't proactive. This is reactive. Giancarlo Stanton's played more games over the last 3 years than Mike Trout has. Like, this is reactive to the fact that he keeps getting hurt. Like, move him to a corner and prolong his career. And you know what, dude? Like, he's still going to be good in the corner. Brandon Marsh is an elite defensive center fielder. If we're talking about optimizing your team, like, that is the best move, in my opinion. I don't understand how that makes him now not the best player in baseball. You can't play left and be the best player in baseball. Is that not what
doing it?
Hold on. I see what Arm's saying, because it sounds blasphemous, right? Oh, yeah, we're just going to move Mike Trout out of center field and move him to right field. But Mookie Betts was a center fielder, and he moved over to right field. I know he didn't move over because of injuries or anything, but he is still one of the perennial best right fielders in baseball, and nobody thinks any less of Mookie Betts. If Mike Trout were to move for right or left, no one would think any less, and it actually could maybe alleviate some of those pains, and then he could actually have a better offensive season. So I don't even think it's crazy. And when I was thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, that could get us canceled, but it's not
that one.
Crazy. It's not crazy at all, I don't think.
I bet you Mike Trout plays more games in left field this year than anybody thinks. I'm willing to that. We can do another side wager on that one.
He's not that great of a defender. Like, he's so fast, and he can track balls down incredibly, but it's not that he has like this crazy arm strength. And left field kind of makes sense. It does, and he's still going to be even better as a left fielder than he would be a center fielder.
And if they make this trade, he has to play center. So, like, that's the thing, is if they make this trade, he's going to center field. And now you're putting some eggs in the basket of Jordan Adams. Like, I don't love Jordan Adams. So
why not?
He's glove first. You can't really hit. I don't love the bat with Jordan Adams. I think,
you're a big Terrence Gore guy.
Oh, God. I don't know if he's that bad.
Gerard Dyson.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here? Ben Revere?
No, he's a little better than that. Well, Revere, maybe. He might be better. Revere.
Are we looking at Sam Fold?
Sam Fold. Ooh, Sam Fold's gas.
Yeah, he was gas.
Yeah, so what about the Giants? What does a trade look like with the Giants? Like, Luis Castillo, I think, fits the mold. He's that change-up fastball guy that the Giants love. They love those types of pitchers. He fits right in. And even if you're not trading a catcher, like, what are the Reds looking for there? Like, the Reds are probably looking for some outfield help. What are they looking for? You're kind of connected to the Reds. What do they need, Jack?
How about Castillo from Mike Yaz?
No, Reds wouldn't do that. No way.
Mike
why
Yaz
would they want
prospect?
Why would they want Yaz?
Yaz is low-key like 30.
Yeah, he's 30, but he helps them win now.
But did they want to win now? Like, what are they doing?
I think they do want to win now.
They're just going to let Castellanos go.
They're not blowing it up.
I mean, we're trading away Luis Castillo because we hear Luis Castillo trade rumors. We heard Sonny Gray trade rumors.
Yeah, but
they might not blow it up. But like,
if they were actually blowing it up, if they were actually blowing it up, they would trade both of them. But it sounds like they're not going to trade both of them. It sounds like they're going to trade one of them and then have the other there to front a rotation with Lodolo and Green.
God, I love Lodolo and Green.
Yeah, how sick is that? What I think that the Reds want to do here is like, they're trying to stay relevant while capitalizing on the guys that they can't afford to pay because we know that they're just not going to pay. They've made it clear that they're just not going to do that. So I think trading Castillo now, similar to the Blake Snell situation, obviously they're not as smart as the Rays, but similar to that, like maximize his value and get pieces that help you now and still set you up for the future. The Giants are a good partner for that. You could end up getting a package here where you're buying a little bit low on prospects if you like them. Like, how about a Heliot Ramos?
That guy would be
that
ready. Come on, you stole my thunder. I was like, Heliot Ramos, how about that? He's almost major league ready, and he's out there.
Right? Big league ready guy. And then the Giants have like a litany of solid bats that could plug right in, right? Like you could go get an Austin Slater, or you could go get, I don't think they deal like Lamont Wade, obviously, but like they have so many dudes like that could fit in. Steven Duggar, like one of those guys packaged in that helped them next year. Ramos as well. You're going to need to give up more. So I'm curious what it would look like. Maybe a pitching prospect, maybe somebody else. Maybe they trade Bart. Like maybe they trade Bart. You know what? Like Tucker Barnhart's gone. We'll see what the long-term plan is behind the dish for the Reds, but I wouldn't hate that either.
Here's my thing on the Reds, though. Like, they are the Portland Trailblazers, right?
Yeah, they actually are.
They're never going to entirely blow it up. They've got some stars. Like, Damian Lillard is screwed. Like, it's the AI thing. You're in purgatory. You're never going to win the big one, but you got to stick around because you've got this generational guy. The Reds have just floundered with Joey Votto. I mean, think about that. Like, Joey Votto's been around. They've got the Rookie of the Year. They've got two of the best pitching prospects in baseball coming up, but they're not going to win the World Series. They don't even have a shot at winning the World Series. They are the Portland Trailblazers. They're never going to blow it all the way up, and they're never going to be the team to beat. That sucks.
Never say never. Come on. Never say never. Not in the next, couple of years, but never say never. I mean, the Big Red Machine, they've had legends. I mean, this is not just like this crap team who's never been there like the Rockies. You can never say never on the Rockies.
When was the Big Red Machine?
Kind of long ago, like in the 70s.
Were you alive? No.
But like, you're being disrespectful. Never say that. The Reds are, you can't put the Reds in that boat.
Pete, we talk for an hour every day. We have to find stuff to talk about, and sometimes that's not always going to be respectful.
All right, here's something that's kind of disrespectful. Aram, do you think the Giants think that Patrick Bailey, their second best catching prospect, can hit? Because in high A, when he went up through 135 at bats, 185, 290, 296 slash line, sure got 43 times. Like, is this a guy that if you trade Joey Bart, that you just have this replacement in Patrick Bailey? We keep hearing that. And it's like, I mean, he did hit in low A and when he first came up, and like, it's fine. And then the entire slash line, we're looking at like a 265, 366, 429 guy, like fine.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good question. And he's out, like, regardless, still super far off. So like, what's your contingency plan?
Yeah.
If you're trading Joey Bart away? Like that's definitely a weird spot to be. I don't think you're totally wrong on that. Like I think it's a really interesting point. But the Giants are one of those teams where like I wouldn't be surprised by like what they do no matter what. I mean, the Reds are kind of fine, I think, moving forward with Tyler Stevenson. But that's the interesting thing when we look at what they're doing over with the Giants. It's like, yeah, Patrick Bailey might be further off than you think. Even if you believe in him, he's further off than you think. So are you going to trade Joey Bart? Probably not. So that's the thing too with Luis Castillo is I think that's why the Reds have been a little bit hesitant. It's like you think that the market would be massive for him. And I think there's a lot of teams with interest, but not a lot of teams that are willing to give up what's required to go get somebody like that. The last team I want to float is the St. Louis Cardinals. That is a team that I think makes so much sense. But again, it's in division. There's no freaking way they're trading Luis Castillo to the Cardinals. So it's like, it just seems like one of those weird spots where you're like, where does he fit in? And unless I'm missing somebody, the Yankees seem to make the most sense for me.
I actually think the Angels make the most sense. I love when you brought up the Angels. I think Brandon Marsh for Luis Castillo like makes all the sense in the world.
So apparently the Angels backed out of Brandon Marsh for Max Meyer, which is pretty crazy.
Which is, I'd rather have Max Meyer, I think.
But that shows how high they are on Marsh.
Yeah. Exactly. But that might show that might be what the consensus value is more so on Marsh. Like he didn't hit great, but I think people undervalue. I see it in the Marlins area because Marlins fans are like, thank God that they backed out. Like we would never want Meyer for Marsh. I would still do Meyer for Marsh. Like Marsh is the
You'd
highest
rather Marsh
floor
than
you
Meyer?
can imagine. Yeah. Plus
Really?
defender and center. Yeah, I get heat for that all the time from Marlins fans. But, it's just personally, the Marlins need it so badly. He can hit, man. Like he didn't quite hit the way you thought. And even with a rough debut, 86 WRC plus to go with premium defense in center field and elite speed. Like, I mean, I'm willing to bet on that guy figuring it out at the plate. And he's had so many at-bats taken away from him in the minor leagues after being a high school guy too. So like he's going to continue to develop and that's a guy that just can hit.
We got to remember though, you want what you don't have. Like that is the case. That is the case with trades. That's the case with free agency. That is the case with human instinct. You want what you don't have. The Marlins have this gluttony of pitching prospects, Max Meyer being one of them. I think that's why Aram is inclined to go get an outfielder, which they so badly need, and a guy that can be a 10-year big leaguer. The Angels have a bunch of those guys that hit. They don't have any of those guys that pitch. So they're always going to be looking for pitching right now. So like, I think both sides could see either side, but the grass is always, always greener, and you always, always want what you don't have.
Should we talk about another catcher who actually might get traded because he tweeted out?
He tweeted the plane emojis.
He tweeted out plane emojis. The Cubs are buying, so I'm like, all right, maybe he won't get traded. But now, if we're talking about the Yankees do kind of make all the sense in the world. They need a catcher. I don't care. They need a catcher. So here's my trade.
I'm gonna hate this.
I don't care.
Hate it. I already hate it.
Whatever. Luis Medina. You don't hate that.
No, I love that now.
Clark Schmidt.
Keep going.
Kyle Higashioka.
You took the
I
win.
put it over the top.
Think about it. What did Stallings get? Zach Thompson and some pieces?
That's a fair trade, I think. You have to consider that Contreras is a lame duck, right? Like he's a free agent after this year. And we see how that impacts value. And it's not like Contreras lit the world on fire last year. I don't think that's crazy.
Right?
I don't think it's crazy.
Luis Medina throws 100. He's a solid pitching prospect. Clark Schmidt, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that,
Yeah, but he plugs in right now.
He could be good. Like he's not like
Peter being disrespectful.
Yeah, he's not some anemic, like just garbage. Like he could be good. And then Kyle Higashioka has at least proven, but I doubt the Yankees would trade Kyle Higashioka because Garrett Cole really likes him. But then again, Garrett Cole's so good. If you can't pitch to Willson Contreras, like you need Kyle Higashioka out of all people. Like he was fine on Houston without Kyle Higashioka. The Yankees can deal him.
Anecdote time here. John Lester only wanted to throw to David Ross. And then Ross retired. And the Cubs said, hey, John, you got to learn how to throw to Willson Contreras. And Lester came around and liked throwing to Willson Contreras after that. Like Garrett Cole, he's being paid enough money to learn how to throw to somebody else.
And the Yankees will then get a catcher who can field and hit, which they haven't had in a decade.
Crazy concept.
They haven't had since Posada. It's a crazy concept.
You usually have to choose, like, on a certain night, do we not want to allow 5 pass balls in this game? Let's go with Higgy.
It does make the game very exciting.
You want an outside chance at a bomb or that comes with 5 pass balls or decent defense and probably 0 offense like that. It's a very interesting decision to have to make every day for Aaron Boone. But Garrett Cole makes it easy because he knows that he has to side with the defensive minded approach there. I don't think that's the worst offer in the world at all, because also from the Cubs component, something we talked about was like, who the hell is pitching for those guys? Clark Schmidt plugs right into the rotation. Even if he struggles, like that's somebody that you try to develop at the big league level, will get to work with, guys and experienced guys in the rotation too. From the guys that they do have, Hendricks and Stroman, alongside a younger guy like Clark Schmidt, I don't think is the worst thing in the world, and could be interesting because Schmidt at the end of the day is kind of similar to what I was saying about Brandon Marsh, where, I'm not the highest on Schmidt, but he also has had very limited innings because of Tommy John right after college, and then no 2020 season, then was injured in times last year. Like the guy could still develop. I think health is a question, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And Medina gives you that upside too. And the Cubs, I think, are trying to toe that line of improving long-term and still trying to stay relevant now. Contreras, you might as well cash in for what you're going to get, because after this year, he's gone, and you're trying to be. I think they're trying to be okay next year. I think they're really trying to prove it to Marcus Stroman the year after next, because he has that opt out. And the year after next, I think they're going to really try to position themselves. I think they got to find out a little bit about themselves this coming season. That's what they're trying to do.
I just kind of wanted to give Peter some shit. I actually think I say yes if I'm Jed.
Yeah, screw you. Screw you. You just hear me talk Yankees and you're like, I don't like it. It's good. Yeah. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but like that doesn't mean I can't not like it.
All right. Well, how would you teeter it? How would you teeter it?
I don't need to teeter it. Here's the thing, though.
How'd you teeter?
Knowing the Cubs fan base, if they get Higashioka back as the only guy that's going to break in with the Cubs, they're going to be pissed, because they're like, oh, Willson Contreras was the last of the real ones, right? Like Baez, Bryant, Rizzo, they're gone. Wilson's all we got. And he's gone. You want an MLB starter in return. But the reality is, Cubs fans, that's not what you signed up for. You just signed Yan Gomes, and you got the plain emojis from Willson Contreras. Like, if you didn't want to piss Wilson off, if you didn't want to say adios to Wilson, like, don't sign Yan Gomes. It's very simple.
Yeah,
you signed a backup to be a platoon guy. So you're getting a platoon guy back. So I think it's good.
Can I get wild real quick to wrap up on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Luke Voit for Contreras straight up?
No. Corners are already filled out.
Who's playing first?
Schwindel.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh, fuck that.
All right, we're gonna bet on the overachievers. We're gonna bet on the overachievers from last year. All right, like fine.
I mean, you can say you can bet on the overachiever of Luke Voit in 2020, but yeah, I still think.
Oh yeah, because those were equivalent.
I agree. I don't know. I think Luke Voit. I don't know. I think Luke Voit's better. But Luke Voit for Willson Contreras is very interesting. But I just don't think the Cubs are that team, because I just don't think they're going to go get a first baseman. Like they need pitching. They need a catcher again. They need. Actually, the middle infield, Nico Hoerner and Magical, like I don't hate it at all. I think it's actually kind of okay.
No, and the reality is, like, why would you jump ship on Schwindel if he hasn't failed yet? You know what I mean?
No, I like Schwindel. Like,
we'll take him.
Is he like, honestly, watched so little of the Cubs last year that it's insane for obvious reasons. Like Schwindel rakes, obviously.
Bet a lot of overs and Hendricks starts.
Yeah. Like Schwindel rakes. I'm sold on Schwindel. I'm not sold on Wisdom whatsoever. The problem is Schwindel stuck at first and Voit is obviously stuck at first. So I get it from that proponent. But like if there's an NLDH, which we would know by the time of this trade, like that makes your team way more watchable. And what? How many years of control does Voit come with? Like at least one more after this one, right?
I think it's one more after this one. I think you're right.
So you're getting control as well.
Before we get to the next deal, the new CBA just got me back on this thought on the minor league Rule 5 draft. Brought up the new CBA and how the DH could come into play. The CBA needs to change compensation. Like we know that's what's going on right now. We have been pounding the pavement. We don't know how much it's going to change, but we have been pounding the pavement for the change in compensation for minor leaguers. I want to walk you through what the Rule 5 draft does from team to team, because the individual is being picked up from one team and being transferred to the other team. There's almost this transfer fee. In the Major League Rule 5 draft, the team, like say the Tigers, who did the Tigers pick Badu up from? I'm blanking. Twins. So the Tigers had to pay the Twins $50,000 for the rights to Akil Badu. In the minor league phase, 24.5. Was it 100,000?
100 now. It was originally 50 and they upped it to 100 several years back.
Interesting. Okay, so it's $100,000 for Akil Badu. That's what the Tigers just paid the Twins. In the minor league Rule 5 draft, the way this works is those guys are immediately assigned to the AAA roster. They cost $24,500. That's the transfer fee. So if a guy goes from the Padres system to the Reds system, the Reds are paying the Padres $24,500 for the rights to that guy. How much does that guy who's eating ramen noodles every fucking night get?
$0.
Fucking bullshit.
It would be cool if they got like 10%, like 10% of the transfer fee or something like that. Like that would move like a couple $1,000 cash would be like helpful to them. That would be interesting.
Give him $2,000. That's like 2 months of rent in whatever minor league.
Well, and they're going to have to find a new place anyways, right? Like that would be, I think the best idea is you get a cut of the transfer fee because another team's identifying you, wants to get you, and you don't have a say in it. And so people understand the difference between the MLB and MILB Rule 5 draft. At the MLB level, it's based on guys that after a certain amount of years in the minor leagues, aren't on the 40-man roster. You either have to decide whether to add them to the 40-man roster or they are eligible to be taken $100,000. In the minor league end, there's 32 guys you can protect. You got to add them to your AAA roster after X amount of years. And if you don't, then they can be selected and added into another farm system where they have to be on the AAA roster. And that all of that is done. Actually, it's one of the few things that baseball does that is good on that end of things with minor league control to encourage teams to either promote their guys, or if another team thinks that they're worth being promoted, will go do that and get them themselves. So I like it. I think that's a great aspect of it, and it's good for the control issues that we have with players and minor leaguers. But yeah, like that is a microcosm of how just screwed up the system is. That's more than they make in a year and multiple levels. And that's the transfer fee that teams are paying just to take a shot on a dude in the minor leagues.
Think about it. They are paying that money for you. Like they're paying that money on behalf of you, but
not paying you.
They're not paying you, but the money is about you.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense.
We even talked to
Zero.
Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, Jeff Duncan. So we're all saying that pay the people. What are we doing? And even if you start paying your people, you start giving them a good bed to sleep in, you give them some good food, good training, they'll be better baseball players for you.
A crazy concept.
It's a crazy concept, isn't it?
What was our first episode of Project the Plate about?
Giving out Fernando Tatis Jr. contracts.
Well, it was about Big League Advance.
Oh, yeah.
What does Big League Advance do? They give minor leaguers a sum of money so they can sleep in a better bed and eat better food and get better training so they can make it.
Yeah, Fernando Tatis.
Realistically, Big League Advance shouldn't exist. Like, I'm glad it does, but it shouldn't exist because it shouldn't be an issue. It just shouldn't. It should exist on a larger scale, but like it shouldn't be so appealing to even some of the best prospects in baseball. Like, are still contemplating that and taking that. Like, I know, they don't document who is taking what deals, but just like from what I've heard from players throughout the minor leagues, some prospects that you would think have no business taking those deals have taken them just because it's so difficult to live year to year, week to week in the minor leagues. So yeah, I'm glad we brought that up because it is just another one of those things that, we know what the issue is. We harp on the issue a lot, but little things like that really highlight it and put into context how backwards the whole system is.
So sometimes in a high school or college class, kids are going to need real life examples of something, right? You can talk about something in theory and you can say this is wrong, but you need a real life example. That's your real life example. A team is paying nearly $25,000 for the rights to you, and you get zero money because somehow minor leaguers don't deserve anything. Let's get back to the trades. Let's rip through some of these.
Josh Donaldson. Loki rakes. Raked last year. His Savant page is red as shit. 99th percentile in average exit velocity. 92nd percentile in xWOBA, X slugging, barrel rate, walk rate, chase rate. He even was like a decent defender by outs above average. He hit 26 bombs, 350 on base percentage hit, 247 with an 827 OPS. Like, the dude still rakes. And you know who needs someone so badly? The Milwaukee Brewers should trade for Josh Donaldson today. And I have a trade I'll throw at you guys.
Whatever it is probably going to be an overpay, by the way, because I think you can get him for like free.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. I was just going to offer, I think,
cash.
Just throw Bryce Terang at him.
That's an overpay.
Yeah, it is.
But
that's the only hope they have in their system.
Do you guys think Bryce Terang is good? Do you?
Yeah, he's fine.
You guys do like him? Okay.
He's fine.
Okay.
See, here's the thing: so I'm pulling up like Josh Donaldson's contract situation, right? So, looking at Donaldson, you have to pay him $21 million next year, $21 million in 2023, and then there's a club option for $16 million. I don't think that's that bad. Like, I realistically don't think it's that bad. Like, I'm fine with paying him that. if I have the money for it, because you know what? He's giving you about that money in production right now. Like, look at what he did last year, to Peter's point. Like, he was good. He was good. And there's teams that could really use that offense. I think if you're trading Terang, like, you might be able to get more attached, with Donaldson. That's the thing is.
No, sorry. The only reason I was mentioning Terang was because they have Willy Adames at short. They have Luis Arias. They have Colton Wong at second. They just have a lot of infielders. So I was like, if you put Josh Donaldson at third, which is kind of their only, you could put Arias there too, but that felt like just a guy that they could trade in order to get it done, like right now.
Maybe they eat money if you give them Terang. Yeah, maybe they split the difference. That I would do, because Terang's okay. Like, I think he's going to be a utility guy probably. I don't love him. But if you can trade Terang, like you said, they've got all the pieces already in place with control. If that gets you some money back, hell yeah, I'd do that.
And dude, he's going to go rake.
And
he's going to rake.
Now, here's my thought with that. If you are going to get Donaldson to be your third baseman, right, or maybe your DH, or maybe your first baseman, like plug and play, are you willing to give up your guy who's your third middle infielder right now? Luis Arias is one of the best third middle infielders in baseball right now.
Is it Arias or Arias?
Arias.
Could
you see? Could you see somehow with like the cash working the way of like the Brewers paying for some of the contract and the Twins still paying for some of the contract, like Luis Arias for Josh Donaldson? Because obviously the Twins, they're not blowing it up.
I don't like him though, and he's like a bat in their lineup. He can hit,
and they have Arias
to retain the hitters. They don't really have much,
exactly.
But I don't think that's that far off, like, because it's kind of in the same boat as a Terang. I just feel like Arias has proved that he is a bat, and they need a bat, and Terang hasn't. So that's what my thoughts.
I like it. And also, they've gone bats last 2 years in the draft. The Brewers have with Mitchell and Freddie. Like, yes, they're outfielders, but those are two guys that they just got. Like Terang, I think when the second Terang gets to the big leagues and he's painfully average at best, at that point, no one's going to want him, right? So it's like, you might as well cash in now. I'm not totally opposed to it.
So the way that I'm kind of viewing that is when Donaldson falls off his cliff, which we are expecting him to in due time, right? Then Terang will be ready at that point, feasibly. So, if you're dealing Luis Arias instead of Terang, you're just cutting the window of air. You know what I mean there?
Yeah, but here's the thing. If I'm the Brewers, and this is where I'm just going to be the asshole that like pulls out other prospects that kind of influence this for me. Freddie Zamora, who I think was probably in the Cape when you were out there, right? Or no?
I don't remember.
I went to the U, had an insane year last year. He was a 2020 draft pick, second round guy. Dude, absolutely raked. Would have been a first round pick, but he tore his ACL in practice with the Canes and missed the whole season. Still went in the second round. Guy's a stud, mashed between low A and high A. Even took it to another level in high A. I think he could be big league ready in about a year and a half. And they might say, you know what? Like, we really like Zamora. We think he could be the future, and be okay with trading Terang. Like, Zamora, no doubt, has a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
Peter's looking at the stats right now. Tell me, Peter, what's good?
Dude, in high A, I know his 22 games, but 342, 435 on base, 494 slugging.
He can pick it too.
He raked. I mean, he didn't slug that much, but he still got 9 doubles, 9 RB. Like, he raked, and he got even better. He's an on-base machine, but he just doesn't slug that much. But he's also, I mean, he's 23. He might just never hit for that much power. He's only got a 40 power grade here, but I mean, he raked.
Yeah, I think to Peter's point, you got to keep every bat you got. You got to hoard those bats if you're the Brewers, right? Like, you got to just keep everybody. And Urias is like, seems like he's starting to just go this way. Like, I think we're seeing him put it together.
And I like Rowdy Tellez, but I think Rowdy Tellez is going to hit third for them. And like, that's not that good.
No, that's not improving on winning the NL Central. Like, listen, I shit on Bailey Ober last week. I said, if Bailey Ober's throwing every 5th day, you're not going to win the World Series. If Rowdy Tellez is hitting third for you, you're not going to win the World Series.
No shot.
I'm really sorry.
Rowdy Tellez is kind of fire, though. It's kind of humor.
Let's get to 2 big boys before we say peace.
So, Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber is never getting traded, but
hey man, that was my hot take.
He might. I think there's an outside shot. And so I have a team that I feel like hasn't been on the Shane Bieber radar because there is a GM there that I don't think would trade away all these prospects. And that team is the Boston Red Sox. Because if the Boston Red Sox and Chaim Bloom packaged Marcelo Meyer, Jaron Duran, Nick York, and Jeter Downs for Shane Bieber, would they do it?
Holy shit.
You keep Casas?
Wow.
Are you high?
Who says no? What? No? What do you mean?
That's insane.
Too much?
More insane than the
Is it
Jose
too much?
Ramirez thing.
No, it's not too much. Both of you are sitting there like, I mean, that's what it might take to get the third best pitcher in baseball with years of control who's not making that much money. You calling him the second. I mean, you could make that argument. Like, you are trading for elite of the elite. And I will say it again, starting pitching wins championships.
Here's what Aram and I said about Jose Ramirez. I said, you're trading for this guy who you're looking to win an MVP in your uniform. And Aram went farther. He said, you're trading for a guy that you want going into the Hall of Fame with your hat on. The Guardians have those two guys right now.
And who's more valuable?
I mean, you can't really say no. You can't say no to that package. Like you realistically, that's franchise altering for the Guardians who have arms still, right? Like you're maximizing your value there. Marcelo Meyer could end up being a superstar, but we know he's a high floor relative to a high school shortstop that you're
not going to help them. And the Red Sox are in win now. Like
I love Nick York. I absolutely love Nick York. Like I think he's a top 50 prospect in baseball. Duran seemed like he really put it together in AAA last year. Obviously, he struggled in the big leagues, but I mean, who doesn't when they first get called up? Like I think he'll be okay, and still is a really, really exciting piece. Like that's a package. And Downs, you would never get Downs as a fourth piece in a deal prior to last year, so that's a good upside fourth option. I'm in. Like I think you have to do it. And let's look at the Red Sox side of things. Chris Sale looked really good when he came back, and I think he's starting to put it together. He was shaky at first and then looked good towards the end of the postseason. But I mean, like how much longer is Chris Sale going to be even close to what Chris Sale is? This is like ushering the new ace for you, because I know Red Sox fans like Tanner Houck, and I know they like some of their young pieces, but you need that ace. This is your guy for the next 3 years plus. I'm assuming that would coincide with an extension too.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Sale is going to start declining very soon. Nathan Eovaldi is going to start declining very soon.
Is it very soon? Here. What does very soon mean? I don't know.
Very soon means
I think they'll still be both really good next year. Don't you think so?
I'm saying ended 2023, started 2024.
They're definitely not aces at that point for sure.
No, I thought you were meaning very, very soon. Like you were saying, like next year they're not going to be that good, and I was like, I think they will be good next year.
No, but year after.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just didn't. I wanted to clarify.
I like
Thanks
it
for clarifying.
I like it. That wasn't bad. That was actually that was some good shit, Peter.
And I think if let's say you're trading a lot of bats in that deal, it's 4 bats. Could you throw in Jay Groom and take out Jeter Downs? And does that get the deal done?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
I actually think that makes it worse, especially.
I know it makes it a little bit worse. It makes it, I mean, that's a haul from the Red Sox.
Here's the thing, though. It makes it worse because the Guardians, like we know, are one of the best 2 or 3 teams in baseball at developing pitchers, and they've got enough pitchers in that system. Like having seen a lot of those pitchers that are coming up, they're fine pitching wise.
Falling in love with Cal Quantrill.
And Cal looks like he can be like one of the best 2s in baseball, right?
That's a big ask.
And they can't fuck up Nick York because he's like already hit right now. Yeah, I didn't even know Cal Quantrill was.
No, but Cal Quantrill, but I know what Jack's saying because he could be that good. Like he is really phenomenal. I watched so much of Cal Quantrill because I just kept telling him the Guardians were one of the most commonly bet on teams because I was like, Cal Quantrill just keeps winning and they're undervaluing him, and I'm getting him in a plus dog against like a Royals team and Brady Singer. And I'm like, Cal Quantrill's just like a lot better, and the Guardians can at least compete there. And then they keep winning. It's like because Cal Quantrill's a good pitcher.
Yeah, you need to make a Cal Quantrill. Go ahead.
if everything works out really well, Quantrill's at 2. Tristan McKenzie has the stuff. Like, he's got 2 stuff. He's probably a 3, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look at that. And then you've also got more guys coming up. Don't forget Zach Plesac, right? But, like, how about some other Guardians prospects here? I love Logan Allen, who is in high A. Guy was amazing. Tanner Burns is really good. You and I both love that short righty. I'm blanking on the Xavier Curry. You and I both love Xavier Curry.
He's gross. Xavier Curry's curveball is magical. It's legitimately magical. No, I mean, and you're forgetting their best pitching prospect. Daniel Espino, I think, is the most underrated pitching prospect in baseball. I'm not kidding. Like, the stuff, I just went down that rabbit hole recently because I'm going to be writing up Cleveland's farm system soon. And Espino has like front line stuff. So for them, it's like, yes, you're trading Shane Bieber, but you're totally just influxing so many exciting bats into your system that are close to big league ready. Not to mention, they had one of my favorite picks in this year's draft on a guy that's pretty close to big league ready relative to his draft class, Gavin Williams, who I know we all like. We saw him a lot last year from East Carolina. Gavin shoves. Like, these are some real. They're like the Marlins with the arms. They're probably better at this point. They might be. I think the Marlins have more elite arms, but like they have like 30. The Guardians do. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I don't need Jay Groom if I'm Cleveland right now. I need bats because, like, who are the big leaguers that are coming up through the system right now?
Wait, they also have Peyton Battenfield.
What?
They also have Peyton Battenfield. Oh my gosh, and Ethan Hankins.
I guess like Nolan Jones and Valera and like their guys coming up as hitters. I mean, they still have Brian Rosario, who's still 26, still young.
I think Roquillo's good. I think Jose Tena's good. But they need bats, and they can go get bats. I think if anybody's putting together a deal, like the Guardians can say, listen, Shane Bieber's available, but you got to give me your 3 best bats in the system.
And the Red Sox have as good of bats in their minor league system as anybody, and they need pitching. Shane Bieber, a Red Sox.
I would hate that.
Yeah, that would, but it would be very cool. Shane Bieber, Garrett Cole games, like Shane Bieber, Shane Boz. I'm already putting Shane Boz in that conversation because that's how.
Don't.
It is good for baseball.
Because Glasnow should be in that conversation right now, and he is in that conversation right now. But you put Bieber in that AL East. Love to see what he does in those little ballparks against the best hitting. Like, that's,
dude. How about Bieber and Barrios on a nationally relevant stage? I mean, those Indians Twins matchups with Bieber and Barrios.
Let's trade Shane Bieber to the Blue Jays, and let's see what that looks like. Because
and then we'll say bye.
Gabriel Moreno.
No.
What? No for Shane Bieber? Just not trading Moreno?
No.
They don't.
You have to.
Fine, go.
It's Shane Bieber.
It's Gabriel Moreno.
It is Gabriel Moreno.
No,
who's
continue.
the top 10 prospect on justbaseball.com.
I had to do that.
Here's the thing.
You knew I was going to say no before. You might as well have just been ready to stop there. But anyway, go ahead.
I just want you to remember that the Jays already went and got Kevin Gausman, and they just signed Barrios to an extension.
Yeah, they're probably not going to trade for Bieber. They're more likely to trade for Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do a Jose Ramirez Blue Jays trade for fun?
Did we do that?
I think we did.
You did?
We did do that.
I thought you guys traded him to the Mariners.
Yeah, we also put together a Toronto one, and it looked like Moreno, Biggio. Well, that was Hader, Moreno, Biggio. Yeah, you know what? Let's put one together. Bieber to the Jays, and then we'll say bye.
Or should we do Bieber to the Jays or Ramirez to the Jays?
Oh, Ramirez to the Jays.
So, Jose Ramirez to the Toronto Blue Jays for Gabriel Moreno, Aurelvis Martinez, Pearson, and Hoagland.
I don't even think you need to include Hoagland at that point.
It's Jose. Yeah, maybe
Jose Ramirez. I think you have to include Hoagland.
I think you got to include Hoagland.
Gabriel Moreno is the type of prospect that I think is entering that territory of the untouchables type. So I think if you are trading him, like, he's a caliber prospect, in my opinion, that you don't see dealt very often at all. And it has to be for Jose Ramirez. So on that end, like, moving up a step further than that, Like you already threw in Orelvis Martinez, and then who was the third guy you put in there?
Groshans.
No,
But these are all guys that they don't have spots for right now. Like you could just have Kirk at catcher, Alejandro Kirk at catcher. Like they have guys up the middle. You know, if you like Biggio and then you obviously have Bo Bichette, I mean, Groshans, I don't know where he's going to play. That is seemingly why Austin Martin was expendable, because I don't know where these dudes are going to play. I mean, obviously we think Moreno is better than Kirk, but the rest of those guys in the deal, it's just a bunch of bats, and the Blue Jays have bats on bats on bats. So why don't you parlay all of them to get for a position of need like the Jose Ramirez? And I think you could trade Gunnar Hoglund, and you could put in Nate Pearson instead. But I actually kind of like Gunnar Hoglund a lot. I think he's good.
I also have a crazy thought for you guys. This is what I want to
like him, Jack?
What?
You gave me like a face. What do you think about Gunnar Hoglund?
No, I like him.
Okay.
He's hurt, but I like him.
Yeah.
Crazy thought that I was just like looking at the future of the Guardians right now, right? So they have Jose Ramirez for 2 more years, very affordably. They have 3 more years of Shane Bieber. And we saw the litany of arms that they have right now. Their team's not that bad at the big league level, considering that they have Jose Ramirez.
He just got no hit like 8 times.
Yes, but this is a better team. Hold on, just listen, hear me out. Franmil Reyes is all right. Miles Straw, low-key, good acquisition in center field.
I agree.
Okay. Here's my thing. If Rosario actually, if you're sold on what he did last year, I think he had a pretty great year. Why not just trade from your ridiculous litany of arms in your system and go get like some other bats? Like, what if we like Uno reverse card this and we're like
Indians buyers?
Like, yeah, like why not?
I agree, Aram. I agree.
Nolan Jones is going to be big league ready next year, and he had a great finish and actually hit lefties for the first time ever. Tyler Freeman will be big league ready for, wherever you want to throw him in. George Valera is closer than I think a lot of people think. And you also now have all of these arms. Like if you look at where these, like Daniel Espino, for example, is, I think, valued way higher by MLB teams. We mentioned all these other guys. Peyton Battenfield was one of the few trades that the Rays actually fucked up. Like Battenfield's a stud. They've got so many.
Who's he traded for?
It was it for Luplo? Was it for Luplo?
Maybe.
That's disgusting if it was.
Should I look it up right now?
Yep, it was for Luplo. Gross. See, the Rays are not impervious to mistakes. So to wrap up here, like you have a ton of arms. And don't go look at like MLB Pipeline, no heated MLB Pipeline, but like they have Xavier Curry at 30. So if you're like, oh, you couldn't package Curry and somebody else and get so, yes, you could. Yes, you could. And that's the thing is like they also got Tobias Myers from the Rays, another mistake. Like they could package 3 different groups of pitchers and get 2 to 3 big league bats and make a huge difference to that lineup.
I love that.
Maybe they do that.
I love that. Why wouldn't they do that? Think about like you're not the AL Central is not this crazy good division where you're waiting for these like what Jack, what did the White Sox prove to anybody?
That they've got one of the best offenses in baseball.
And then what?
See?
And then what?
And then
what does that do for you?
They have a good bullpen. Very expensive.
They've got a super expensive bullpen. Yeah.
And that's it. Twins, Royal, like there's
go for it.
Can be had.
Next episode, Guardians trade proposals. We just traded everybody away. Never mind.
Reverse Uno again.
Bringing people into Cleveland.
We should do that. They deserve it.
Yes.
It's like kicking and screaming, breaking it down. Don't listen to Phil. It's like do the exact opposite of what I say. Hey, quickly before we go, Aram, you had somebody tweet at you saying Max Meyer for somebody like Kelnick or Julio Rodriguez. What do you think about that?
I'll have to run it by the trade machine first.
Yeah.
The trade simulator, make sure that it all checks out. But I did see that tweet, and I got a kick out of that one because there's nothing like the way people value their own prospects. And clearly, Marlins fans think that Max Meyer can get you Julio Rodriguez. So let's fire it up.
Have I said it on the podcast?
It's crazy to me that they think that, and they're like, and it hasn't been done yet. Like, if that is possible, it would have been done yesterday.
Have I said it yet that Julio Rodriguez is my favorite prospect in the entire minor leagues? Have I said that on the podcast yet? Because I believe it. I was watching more video of him this morning. He is so good, and he is going to be Aaron Judge. I'll say that right now.
Did you see the picture of Bobby Witt just like?
Yeah,
just
I also saw that picture of Bobby Witt 6 feet elevated in the air. I mean, he's also going to be incredible. But I just think Julio's bat is generational. Fair. I think it's that good. I think the numbers would agree. There's going to be no stopping this dude. He's going to be one of the best hitters in baseball for a very long time. For the Marlins. And Max Meyer will be great for Seattle.
Yeah.
Also, Mets fans, I think I like Francisco Alvarez better than Adley Rutschman, which is much harder of a take. And I'm not willing to really get behind that, but like.
I'm saying something I'm not willing to
I don't but like I'm starting to believe it because I really do like him. I really do like him.
Every link you need is in the episode description. We will talk to you on Monday. Cool beans?
Thank you, everybody.